we starting?
Are we starting? Yeah, we're starting.
Oh, well, thanks for the heads
Are you
up.
guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Headphones, microphones.
Okay.
Welcome!
All right, it's another episode of the RSL Random Fan Podcast. I'm a host, Frank Goebel, joined by other A-hosts.
A-host Tyler!
Brennan.
And Brennan. So we're going to talk about the game that no one will soon forget.
What an amazing result.
Call it something stupid like Snowmagedon.
Or
something better.
4-hour Mageddon.
Or Windmageddon.
Or just a blowout.
Yeah. But I mean, I think there's some good in this game. But I also think there's some reasons to be concerned too. But we can get to that.
Yeah. What do you take from a game like this? Other than...
Well, we asked everybody that in the post-game presser, right? They all had different answers, which I thought was funny.
Mentality and effort, they're the obvious that you take from that. So,
Yeah, that's great. I'll interject as well.
All right, go ahead with
please.
the lineup.
Absolutely. With the lineup?
Yeah, sure.
All right. We have Chicho up front with Gomez, Crooks, and Luna right behind him. Two-man midfield of Anelli and Ojeda. And a four-man back, which is Hidalgo, Silva, Glad, and Brody. And then our boy McMath.
Yeah.
nice.
When you saw that lineup, was there anything you were worried about?
Yeah. I was worried about being able to not be so cold.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So when you saw the lineup, you were like, man, I'm cold.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the stuff all before the game before we get to...
Yeah. Let's start
game?
before the game, because something happened as the starting 11 was announced.
Well, I was kind of excited to be there, home game, and had the opportunity to sit in the press box.
So you got there early?
Got there a little early, like 10 o'clock.
Just a little? So early.
Yeah, I might have been a little too excited. But I was there, and then they started noticing that nobody was coming in the building.
So how did you get in the building?
Press, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So you're kind of a big deal is what you're saying.
No, they just weren't looking, and I just kind of walked right by.
Classic brand move.
Just snuck right in.
The classic, I'm just acting like I belong here.
Have you seen my mom?
I do the
I
same
was
thing.
I was lost. I pretended like I was lost,
Yeah.
and they took me right upstairs.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lost little boy.
Yeah,
You found
so
your way.
Got there, and then it was really windy, and it just kind of got crazy
And
windy.
dusty.
And then I don't know what all of the delay was for. They were talking about they obviously won't play in lightning,
Okay.
but they also won't play if it's over 60 miles per hour, the wind.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's what
On
they
the
were
field
saying.
or
That was the
at
scuttle.
the stadium?
That was the scuttlebutt. I don't know.
Because that was the funny thing I thought. Because Trey went down field level and said, hey, it's 20, 25 miles per hour field level. So it's not that bad. So I thought, okay, that means we're playing. Or maybe it wasn't Trey. Maybe it was somebody else. Somebody posted that.
Yeah,
and it was way better field level.
And after the game, because I wasn't really paying attention, I was just trying to get ready and, was chatting with everybody else up there.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that someone posted that LAFC just wasn't going to show up because we're not going to play. Right? They thought that was going to be bad weather, and they were just staying in a hotel until they got the confirmation that the game was going to go on because they're all made of sugar and they're going to melt if they get in the rain.
It's a great joke.
Yeah,
Made of sugar.
Yeah, that's what my mom used to say. You're not made of sugar. And then...
Wow, you brought up your mom twice already. We're only a couple minutes in.
Yeah, well, I don't
Therapy
go
must
to,
be
I don't go
tough
to therapy. I don't go to therapy. That's why I bring up my mom here.
Third mom reference. Oh boy.
And then
It's going to be a long podcast.
someone else's mommy came over, and then they said, well, they wouldn't come, and then they finally came to the stadium, and then the wind died down, and they finally get around to getting the game started. We heard like 3 or 4 o'clock they were going to hold off until play the match.
Yeah. It was crazy, right? Because there was, and they didn't let the fans in. There were a ton of fans showing up and outside the gates and taking pictures and, chanting and singing and but also like just standing there like, what is going on? Let me in. It's cold out here.
I got there. Like I said, I got there about 10, and there were LAFC fans already coming. Like they were there before I was, and then I'm sure there was also RSL fans down in the parking lot with pregame festivities that they do every week. So there was a lot of people coming in, but I was really surprised there were so many LAFC fans there.
Really?
So early. And then we went in, and then they didn't open the gates until about noon when the match was going to start originally.
Yeah.
Because they finally came back and said, we're going to start the game at 2:10. I think that was the official time.
Well, and I feel bad for people that like had to work that night or something, you know what I mean? And they're like, hey, I can still hit the game and then go, you know. So that was one of my close people had to work that night. And so before they even came to the game, before they even opened the gates, before they even elsed it up and opened up the gates. Anyway, she had to leave, so sad day for her.
That's terrible.
I just kept thinking, I am so glad this is happening starting at noon.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
If it would have done at 7:30 at night, oh.
Would have been 2.5.
All right, kickoff will be at 10:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be rough.
And then they start the game, and then it started to snow, and then there's a couple of things of lightning.
3 minutes in, yeah. And it was...
Yeah, what a random bit of lightning, though.
And the snow was like, it started off, you know, like we're sitting in the press box, you and I, Brent, and it, seriously, they were getting ready to kick off, teams were lining up, and all of a sudden, the temperature dropped like 15 degrees. And everybody like zipped up their jacket, pulled on their beanies a little tighter, like it got cold quick. But then it started to snow.
Yeah, it was cold too. Because at the start of the game was like 50 degrees when we first got there.
Yeah, when we were in it, it was probably down to like 35.
And
yeah.
So
you're not moving either. That's always tough.
No woodland or feral creatures, though. Usually when we have these kind of games.
Yeah, I didn't see a
no
duck.
cat, raccoon, duck. I thought
maybe they went through the ceiling tiles, I think.
Maybe we'll get a moose to wander out on the field someday. Not today though. Not from this game.
We traded him.
Thought maybe.
We traded the moose. Oh.
So let's talk about the start of the game.
Yeah.
The second start, but the start.
And we were not on the front foot apparently. Apparently, the first 3 minutes were not good.
Yeah, the first 3 minutes were all LAFC because they got the corner kick, and that's really what happened. Conspiracy theories that Pablo told the ref to halt the game because he thought it was dangerous, and he wanted to get the guys back into the locker room because we know they're better at the second half.
Yeah, there we go. So that's what we need.
So they just started the second half after the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, because after that, RSL came out, and they were on the front foot.
Because when there's lightning, it's a mandatory 30-minute delay?
Lightning strike within 8 miles of the stadium. And yeah, it's at least a minimum of 30 minutes per strike.
Per strike?
Yeah, so if you have lightning and then you go back in, the timer starts. But if you have another strike before the 30 minutes is up, it starts over.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
from the last lightning strike.
From the last lightning.
It's not adding on per lightning strike. If there's 6, then it's...
Well, it just depends on when they were.
Right. Okay. Good.
Yes.
Now you can't get friggin' lightning songs out of my head.
We've already made Brennan mad.
Lightning. Sorry.
So,
all right. So
yeah.
lightning. Lightning's over.
Lightning's over.
They come
back out.
And now there's an inch
you know
of snow.
what? It's really sad too, because were you guys there at the start of the game? It was probably the very best. Very best Star Spangled Banner national anthem that I've heard there.
Yeah, that was good. They had the 3 of them.
Expound on that for people who hadn't heard.
Yeah, there was 3 of them, and they did some nice harmonies. A guy and 2 girls, and when they sang the national anthem, it was the best one I've heard.
Is that sarcasm?
No, totally. It was one of the best ones I've heard, and I kept thinking, what a waste. That there's people that probably aren't going to show up, not very many people. There were quite a few fans for the home opener, but the weather certainly did have an effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially as the game wore on.
Yep. And so then it started snowing. And We
Did
talked
it
to
snow?
the camera guys.
I think it snowed.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
Did it
guys
snow? Did we
talked-
start?
Did you talk to the camera guys?
Start after 3 minutes?
Anyway, the camera guys were like, dude, the snow usually you can pick a direction and then you can keep your camera out of the snow and you still get good shots. But they were like, it was a pain because you kept having to wipe your lens and wipe your lens and wipe your lens. And by that time, they just came up and stood in the press box to get warm because they were so cold.
So thoughts on the game as it started again, and the weather. What were some of the things that caught your attention in a game like this with the weather being such an incredible factor?
I think realistically, I saw LAFC not want to be there. Their play, they didn't really seem to press or hold on to the ball very well. They had a couple opportunities at the very, very beginning. But you could tell it seemed like every single one of those LA guys just did not want to play soccer that day. Like it felt pretty one-sided, especially sitting on the north side. They never came over. It was tough.
I think that might have had something to do with the wind too,
Mm-hmm.
because RSL had the win in the first half,
Isn't that funny?
and
It's like back to elementary school when I'm going downhill. I'm going uphill.
I thought
I got the wind.
that's one of the things I thought too. Is like, this is the best recess soccer I have ever seen.
Yeah, and like especially when you played like club ball, like the sun going down. If it was in the goalie's eyes, you were gonna be like, "Hey, shoot high, guys, because the sun's in the goalie's eyes." You know what I mean?
Talk like that too.
Well, you
Because
try.
teenagers don't have normal voice.
You're a teenager, so you just thought it was cool. Hey guys, yeah. Anyway,
So the first
that was
half,
a big deal in high school. I don't know if you knew that. Oh,
yeah.
kind of a
Who's
big
Tyler
deal.
talking to, man? He keeps making voices to himself.
Is that Tyler again?
Said, "What are you doing?"
Oh,
That was me. Oops,
Don't you know we're a big deal?
I'm a big deal.
I'm kind of a big deal.
I found
You're a
another
big deal,
syringe on the
Tyler.
soccer field.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought what happened right off the bat is that Andres Gomez got going and he started getting past Campos, and we found their weak spot. You know what I mean? We had noticed sometimes teams tend to pick on Brody, and LAFC didn't really do that, and we, meaning Gomez, Luna, Crooks, and to some extent Bodie getting up and down the side, were taking very much advantage of little Campos playing left back for LAFC, and we were getting right by that guy, and Gomez was having a heyday.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. It's like, who is this kid?
Yeah, no, Gomez was loving that matchup.
well, that first goal was a little surprising because Gomez didn't really have any right to get to that ball. But I don't know if it's Campos. I don't know who the defender was that was on him.
Yeah,
Looks like he got
Campos.
tripped up with
Yeah.
the snow and the soccer ball, and Gomez was just
Kind of slipped a
moving
little.
through him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got pretty lucky, I think, and I think that's what gave Gomez confidence because he hasn't been confident this year. But I think
Right.
after getting that goal, he was kind of like, oh,
Well, and
now we
Chicho
can do
passed
things.
it to him too, right? So
Yeah.
that says something. If Chicho took time to pull it back and then play it across to him, then he's like, all right, time to make a play.
And Chicho got his money's worth because I mean he almost had that side kick into the goal that I was gonna be so sick.
That was Brody.
That was not Brody. It was Chicho.
At the first.
Oh, on
No,
the one that showed up on the highlight reel.
that's Brody.
That's Brody.
They
Get
called it
outta
as
here.
Chicho, dude.
They
Get
called him-
out of here.
They did. They called it wrong.
Yeah, that was absolutely
totally
Brody.
Andrew Brody, dude.
No.
He caught it pretty solid. I mean, he missed, but it was a pretty good volley, all things considered. But no, Chicho did get his money's worth. He had a great game.
Yeah, and you have to factor a lot of the weather into this, because on the first goal, does the defender
Loses balance like
lose
that?
his balance, slip and fall?
Right.
But
And the
kudos-
second goal, Chicho came back and won the ball that, what's his name, was clearing out, El Chileno in the center.
Yeah.
And that knocked it back, and the ref was like, play on. And so we're like, play the ball through, and here we go again. Right?
Yeah. So, I love the fact that Gomez was excited to be there. I think that some of the players for LAFC were there to play, because, especially in the second half, I thought they would come out. We'll get to that, but I thought they would would, after the first goal, that they would just kind of lay down. Because this is a game where there's this kind of challenges where the first goal really is big.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think they stopped too much. Although I watched the game again, and when we were there and watching the game, I thought, where is Denny Bwanga? But watching the replay again, he did pop up occasionally.
Yeah.
Well, he did have
a little bit more.
He had a shot on goal that went off the post.
Yeah. And he had a couple times where he was moving pretty well, and he got by Hidalgo. But by and large, I think the combination of Marcelo Silva and Hidalgo did pretty well to keep him out.
Yeah, and I thought for all of this, bless you, all of the snow, this might have been RSL's best passing game in a long time. They were connecting. They weren't trying to just lob it over and have somebody run on to the play, but Crooks and Chicho and Luna were all combining. And there were some times even in the first half, where they connected and were just dominating the ball. The first half stats weighed really heavy. I think RSL had over 60% possession in the first half.
And that's what we want to see, especially against an LAFC team that's really dangerous. Like, their guys are really high-quality players, you know?
Well, high quality and warmth. You know, they're used to that hotter weather. I mean, if they had Messi on the team, I don't think he would ever show up here.
And that's why they didn't schedule the Miami game.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Imagine the Miami having Leo
awesome.
Messi run around in this. That'd have been fun. And Hugo Lloris, the world champion, he was introduced to MLS soccer.
Yeah, that's what McMath said in the post-game press conference. He said, yeah, I told him, hey, can I have your jersey? And by the way, MLS is like this every week.
Every weekend. Welcome to Major League Soccer. So we got the first goal, and Gomez, he was just abusing Campos. I thought he was going to get arrested. He was abusing him so
I know.
bad.
I was like, Campos is going to get a red card because he's just going to, one of these times, just go swinging at him. You know, he's probably getting really frustrated.
And then, so the first goal, and then the second goal.
So I said the second goal, but they called that one back. Remember the one where Chicho won the ball, knocked it back, and then they played it through to Gomez. He was off by
he was off
a good
step.
body length. But he still finished. And I think that second one was like, he was like, I own this guy. Like, I'm going to keep doing this, you know? So then the third one, you want to go through that one?
The third one started with a great defensive play by Marcelo Silva.
Yeah.
He was the right back.
Tanque.
The right back, or one of the players for LAFC, was trying to get around him, and he made a nice sliding tackle and stole the ball, and then got it, and it kind of worked it back up between Anelli and Luna and back and forth, and then they found Chicho. He was about 30, 40 yards out, and he sent it in, and Luna was inside the 6.
Yeah.
Right inside the 6. Chested it down, and then he did a nice little second touch to keep it over the defender.
Yeah, because Campos closed him down.
Laid it back for Gomez, and boom, slotted it in. He got both corners. Right corner, left corner.
Right corner. Left
corner, left corner. And Lloris he was frozen.
Yeah.
He, literally and figuratively.
He was stuck to the pole.
And he did not have the ability to make a play. So we're up 2-0. But LAFC did have some chances in the first half.
Yeah.
They had, I think they had more corners than we did in the first half. And McMath made some brilliant saves.
He made a couple of really good saves. One on at the West, if you remember. He kind of had to run 3 steps, and it was going upper 90, but it wasn't hit with enough pace to really beat McMath. But in the snow, right, it probably was, but McMath moved really well. Can you imagine, though, if he would have slipped on one of those? Like, it's pretty possible that would have happened. So, I don't know. Like, McMath was very sure-footed. There was a couple times when Glad and Marcelo Silva both slipped.
Yeah, they had 2 in the second half. But in the first half, there was one where Denny Bwanga, I think it was him, went down the left side, kind of got around Hidalgo.
Bodie, yeah.
And then sent a cross in.
Yep.
And you had, I think it was Bogusz crashing the box.
Yeah.
It was like 2 feet away from McMath. And he just
Sent it
instinct,
over.
reaction save, and one-handed palm the ball over the goal. That was a good opportunity. Then literally less than a minute later, I think it was Bogusz had a shot that was curling in that McMath had a diving save to push it around. So
Yeah,
McMath
so it was there. I mean, they had their chances. They just didn't put them away, you know.
Well,
They pinged the post, too.
Well, also, McMath was jumping much further and higher than he normally does. I think it's because of the snow.
Yeah.
He felt like he had a softer landing because he was getting quite elevated for a lot of the saves.
Could have been the wind. They had to hold him down.
That's true. It was like a kite.
10 stinks.
Yeah, McMath has been stellar. He did have the first game jitters against Miami, and the one he wants to get back, where it went underneath him, and he didn't. There was nothing he could do on the
second one.
St. Louis, or that goal or the St. Louis goal.
No.
And obviously we got this clean sheet. He got the clean sheet against LAFC, but he had some killer stops, and I think if LAFC, even in these kind of conditions, their team, you just can't give them anything.
Well, and I think that's why it was such a dominant first half performance. Is like right before, I think it was they called for like 5 or 6 minutes of stoppage.
It was 5 minutes.
And we were all like, wait, what? Where's the 5 minutes coming from? That it seemed excessive, and we were like, chatting with each other like, did you see 5 minutes? Did you see 5 minutes? No, I don't see 5 minutes. It's snowing. I usually see 0 minutes when it's snowing, right? And they came down, had a really close chance, and then we came down, and Gomez got right by Campos again, put that ball in early to Chicho, and Chicho does Chicho stuff. Now, on that play, I couldn't tell if Chicho was onside, and if you go look at the replay, you can't really tell either. You know what I mean? I tried to get it just on the right second, but frame by frame, and Apple TV, as good as it is,
Close goes to the runner.
yeah,
Tie goes to the runner.
And like they say, right? Close is on, and wow, he just finished that. And I think if it was maybe British soccer, we might have Premier Leagued it up, and he
had more tech in
2
goal
inches offside or whatever.
They would come out with the laser.
Yeah. But I think he was close enough that it was like, no, he was Major League Soccer onside.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about how.
And he buried it.
Like,
MLS.
what an awesome slide.
Cool slide, knock it in the corner.
Just
close
barely
enough.
clipping it.
Yeah, great finish.
Yeah, I've heard people say they like the way MLS does it, where it's a little bit more of close, and they don't bring out the lines and the AI and whatever it is they're using to decide if someone was onside or off. So, yeah, great first half for Real Salt Lake. And the snow, I was really surprised at how much snow came down in that first half.
You're surprised? I was sitting in
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't start hitting the front row of the press box until about halftime.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's where Brant put his computer away. And
Yeah, my laptop was getting wet, and I thought,
oh, boo-hoo.
I know, I was literally in tears too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a poncho, and that was it. Just trying to stay warm. Didn't even have my arms out because my arms got so wet from the raining before.
Yeah.
Those ponchos are nice though. Like they keep you warm. The plastic keep you warm. And you had the nice green jacket too. The really
Green
good jean jacket that we may or may not see again.
Jacket.
May or may not see
We'll never see
anymore. With Fanatics taking over the team store. But anything else on the first half before we get into halftime?
Wow.
No?
A yawn for the
Sorry,
first half? Really?
when you guys talk so slow, it's like hard to stay awake sometimes.
Wow.
After a long day.
Wow.
He just wants to get right to it. Let's go.
No, I just want to let's get
No,
a pop in
I
here.
loved how Gomez was owning his guy. Like, I haven't seen that dominant performance out of him. We saw it in spurts, but to have a whole half where he just totally owned the guy on his side and just got by him 4, 5, 6 times, man, that was impressive. I was so excited for Andres after that.
And it's also, a lot of it, he wasn't even dribbling. I think that
Not
was
every
a big,
time, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a big one. Is we were setting him up to be that creative.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the snow delaying the passes because it did seem like our tempo when it came to passing wasn't as fast paced as it usually is. And you could tell that it was benefiting our guys way more. Like the way that the passes were moving, how they were able to make a move on somebody before another pass came in, it created more opportunities instead of just being this, pass back,
You
pass
ever
forward.
played beach soccer?
Yeah, because I'm Brazilian.
Right. That's what it reminded me of.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like beach soccer. Like this, sometimes it rolls in the sand, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes
what I mean?
it got caught, and then the other times it was like scooting. You
Yeah.
didn't know what you were going to get.
Sometimes it skipped. Sometimes it didn't. Yeah, it was kind of like beach soccer is what I likened it to.
I don't know if it was because of the snow and how.
That it was like beach soccer?
No,
Yeah,
it
not,
seemed like
not
the
sugar
ball.
beach soccer.
The
Beach.
ball was obviously affected. It wasn't going as fast, but it didn't just die
Yeah.
until like late in the game. They were able to. It seemed like RSL adjusted better than LAFC, obviously.
Yeah.
But they were able to continue to play. So I was impressed with that as well. So should we get to halftime?
Yes, please.
Halftime.
Now
Now everybody can hear the music.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
Orange Slices. Thoughts on players at halftime?
Well,
We've already had thoughts.
Yeah, that's what my
let's
thought
just
was.
have orange
Gomez.
slices.
Let's go. All
Gomez.
right, let's get it done.
Gomez. Here's your orange slice, Gomez. Way to go. Cherundelo.
I'm going to give my orange slice to Anelli. Anelli came up with a lot of stops, and he really shut down a very stout midfield. I'm loving that 14 guy. He's doing a good job.
How about you, Brent?
So, I'm going to go with Crooks.
Oh, dude. How can you say that when he had a wide open opportunity to score and he didn't
was
finish?
alone in on goal,
Oh,
and he
it was
passed
such
it.
a good dish, too. It was a great dish to him, and
He should have just finished.
Yeah, he should have just finished.
Well,
man.
he had 3 opportunities. 3 really good opportunities. He had the first one. They're all in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Crooks opens up Luna. Luna had a great half, too. Had a great game, too.
Makes him more
But I
free.
think-
Yeah.
Having Crooks there and just watching him play, the teams know that they have to focus on him.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to focus on Luna. So they have to focus on both of them, which opens up both of them. So I really like how Matt opens it up for everyone else. He, like you mentioned, he should have taken that shot on Lloris, but I don't think he saw the LAFC player crashing out of nowhere because that was a great pass. I think he was trying to be a good teammate. And then he had another one where the second one, which was really beautiful, where Chicho Arango returned the favor from the St. Louis game.
Yeah.
Had a nice little give and go and played him on with a pass, and Lloris just made a great save. And I think Matt thought he was going to get that one because he kicked the post after. Then the third one was a breakaway in about the 70, right before he got subbed out, and an LAFC player came up behind him and clipped him right as he's going to take the shot, and the ball went out of bounds. But I do...
Yeah, I don't know if they were going to do, even if that was like dirty and it got him, you know? How do you do a replay on that? How
Yeah,
do
I
you
don't- it
take
wasn't
that
a
to
foul.
VAR? Oh, I know, but even if I'm saying if it was, like how in that snow, the cameras aren't going to get everything. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, and really, I think almost everyone deserved an orange slice in the game. Zach McBath?
Oh, someone else is born in the podcast, huh?
Brent.
Yeah,
Oh, my
jeez,
goodness,
huh?
Wow.
Man, let's move up.
Goodness
Move on,
gracious.
Wait, let's try and make everybody that's watching yawn.
Oh, boy.
It's all right.
Oh,
If they've
let's
been
not
listening
do
for the
that.
past 15 minutes, I think they're done. They're good.
They're pretty yawning. But you know what? We weren't even the best team of the weekend. Miami dropped 5 on Orlando, so, Snowmagedon 3-0.
Are you all right
We
there?
need to make
I'm
a
having
pause
some. I'm
here
having
real
some
quick.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
We're trying to get this podcast going, and
Oh my
you're slowing
gosh.
us down.
I know, but the
a
people
little
need
random.
funny. The people need funny.
Hey, looks aren't everything. So back to, I thought McMath played a stellar game.
Literally look like you.
Marcelo.
Insulting.
Remember when Marcelo came out, though, that one time? It just totally whiffed on it, and he kind of slid, and it was so awkward, and I was like, oh, bro.
Well, yeah, I
Dude,
still...
that was his one whiff of the game,
Oh,
but he didn't
man.
pull the guy down. And then the
Yeah.
guy went in and
Well,
just kind of shanked it.
Glad had a slip. Well, everybody's slipping and sliding, but
Yeah.
Glad had the one where That was the one where Bowanga went off the post because
Yeah.
Glad slipped. And that
And
was
then
off a throw-in.
Marcelo had to come back and cover. And yeah.
That was off a throw-in. Hollingshead threw it in, got the ball back, turned, lobbed it over, and Glad slipped, and I think it was Bogusz again. I like Bogusz. I'd take him in a minute. And then Hidalgo came over, and Bogusz slid it past him to Bowanga and doinked it off the post. But I thought Ojeda played well. He was really battling in there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bad blood between Ojeda and...
Who are you giving your orange slice to?
I gave it to Crooks. So I'm just saying that...
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that...
Did we start the second half yet? Is that
No, no.
I know. I'm like
No,
so
no.
lost here. I'm like, wait a second.
I
we were
wanted
just
to
on-
point out
What
that
kind of
this was...
format is this podcast?
No, the
This
host isn't hosting.
I was pointing out, while you guys were doing whatever you were doing,
I was
that-
fixing my mic.
that the whole team, there was a whole team almost deserved orange slices for the way they played, except for, we talked about Glad and Silva having a few slips, but Gomez, Crooks, Luna, Arango, Ojeda, and Anelli were just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, I think those front six are pretty standoutish.
Well, and they didn't punish us for our mistakes. Like Hidalgo, went for the Bowanga fake, whatever he does, that little shimmy shake with his hips and his head, and then he just goes by you, right? And he's so quick with that it works most of the time. But apparently it was slowed down a little bit in the snow. Plus, Anelli kept coming over to double team that, and so it cut that down a lot. It was really effective in shutting him down.
Who does Ruiz replace?
Who?
Who does Ruiz replace?
Who's Ruiz?
Pablo Ruiz.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
That has got to be a tough call because obviously Ojeda, he's going to replace Ojeda
he's going to replace Ojeda
because
next
Ojeda
game.
got the
He ended up
second
with the
yellow.
red, yeah.
And I thought his first yellow was kind of soft.
Yeah,
he
what
had
was
his
the first yellow?
He had his arm out, and
The guy
ran into him.
Ran into him. He kind of, I think they thought he was getting his elbow up to his face, but it looked really soft.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't necessarily deserved. But the second one, I mean, you could hear it up in the press box. It was a crack, crack, one of those,
Yeah,
So-
I watched it again and again and again, and
just from the sound, though.
it sounded like, and I thought, oh man, somebody just broke a leg.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
But there was too much shin guard in it. You know what I mean?
But I can see he was kind of
The
lunging
sound
with
of shin
both
guard.
feet.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the sound of shin guards. And
Echoes. You forgot to
hello,
say
shin
echoes.
guards, my old friend. Come to kick with you again. No.
Still going. Keep going, Brad. Don't stop. Second verse.
Same as the first.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so the shin guard to shin guard, I think, was what the majority of the contact was. But upon replay, there was a touch of the foot, the sideways. He was going to red card him, so I'm glad it was reduced to a second yellow. But
The problem I had with it, the LAFC guy was the one that came through. And I guess, if
swung wildly.
If Dunny says it's a yellow, we'll go with that.
No, Dunny was saying it was a red, wasn't he?
At first.
At first, but then the replay and they said it was a red. So anything else for halftime? Anything else?
Well, I was
I
gonna
know,
say
we're past
before we
halftime
start
already.
the second half that we've already talked about. How do you guys think that this is our do you think this should be our starting 11 if we have this opportunity every time?
No. I think
What are the pieces that you would switch out?
Catranas needs to come in for Brody. Or
Ooh.
Oviedo. I don't know. I like Brody, and I think he brings the passing element that we like, but I don't think he's great in attack. And I don't love the way he defends by poking balls away. Those are my two complaints with Brody. But
everything else you would?
yeah,
You'd keep?
I think, like they said, Catranas has to come in. We have to have a better left back. And I'm really surprised that Oviedo didn't get to start. Maybe it's because of the weather and he is older. But if you're going to have that guy on the team, why not get him in?
because Brody's a right back playing left back.
Yes. So I think Brody and Hidalgo, if you put them together, they'd be a great right back, right?
Yeah, if you listened to our podcast last year, you would have heard that analogy already.
Yeah. So I should do that. And
listen to your podcast?
Yeah, listen to our podcast.
Yeah, where can you listen to that podcast?
On Spotify, Apple, iTunes Music.
And now...
Or your mom's house. We're already there.
Also,
That's right.
now you can check us out on YouTube.
On YouTube. Or
If you want to
Goals
see
TV.
our smiling faces, check us out on YouTube and on Goals TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we're better looking on the radio, but podcast. But
No, we're better looking on Goals TV than YouTube, though.
probably.
That's probably true.
Yeah,
like the filter.
Jose takes care of us on Goals TV.
Yeah.
So
would you keep this team?
Would I keep this team?
Yeah.
No, I would put Vera in the middle
Yeah.
of the back line. I would put Catranis in. And then, honestly, I would... The only one I'm not too sure on is Gomez. I think we're thinking highly of him because he had 2 goals in this game, but, his past couple of games hasn't been something that I'm really too happy about. I don't know.
But if he can play like that, I mean, don't you want that in the game right off the bat?
So if that's who shows up at the game, I will put him in 100%.
Yeah.
If that guy is the one who's showing up, let's do it.
Pablo's saying he's doing it in practice, consistently.
Practice.
Yeah, we're talking about practice.
Practice.
we don't need no stinking practice.
Not the game. Not the game.
Practice is a different side of the brain than a match. It's 1,000% true.
But now it's translating into the game.
That's good.
That's what he's saying.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I pick up what you're throwing down.
He said he practices like that, and it shows up in practice, and now it's finally showing up in the game.
Yeah, maybe he's just a snow specialist from Colombia.
Yeah, somebody was calling him Snowmez. Andres Snowmez.
But he said it was like the first snow game he's ever played in.
Well, that's a good one. Beginner's luck. You know?
I thought he was more like Legolas. You know what I mean? You know, Lord of the Rings, where Legolas is like walking on top of the snow and everybody else is sinking down in with every step. That's kind of what he looked like out there. Like, the snow didn't affect him at all. He was just...
And this halftime show has been sponsored by LARPing. Do you love live action roleplay? Like our good friend here, Tyler Thomas.
Hey, just because I watch some movies don't mean I role play.
Okay, we're gonna be down at the park.
Do you want to be an orc?
At 7.
Maybe a magician.
Everybody bring your favorite blade. I'll bring a glaive. What are you bringing? Brennan?
Glaive.
Can I bring my batliff?
Yeah. Batlifts are definitely welcome.
Because Klingons could beat orcs.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe.
Okay.
So anyway, back to the lineup. So who would go in besides Gomez? That's going to be Julio?
No. Barajas.
Fidel. Te gusta Fidel?
Yeah. And I
You
do
like
I like Crooks in the middle.
Yeah.
That's a really nice position. I think Ruiz, Anelli, and Ojeda need to be in a rotation because I was a little hesitant on Anelli because he is, pretty defensive-minded in most parts. But the way he was able to still be within all the transitions, moving the ball, it was like, wow, okay. I need to see Anelli in a different way. So I think Crooks every day in the center, Brian Ojeda, Anelli, and Ruiz rotating in. And then just making sure we have a stout back line that's always there. Like
Yeah.
whatever we need to do in practice to make it so nobody's injured, nobody's exhausted, and there's no tweaks
Vera
here or there.
was it was a good game for a rest.
Yeah,
I mean, it ended up that way. We didn't think it was at first, but it ended up that way.
Yeah.
So, that was good.
Yeah, and I think Marcelo Silva, to his credit, did a fantastic job. I really, especially not having that many matches under his belt coming into it.
Yeah.
I think he definitely
It's been a
worth the
little
money
match
stake.
light recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the weak spots are right back, left back. We'll see what Catranis does when he comes in. If he holds that
Why was
down...
Hidalgo a weak spot? What did he do to earn a weak spot?
What has he not done?
I think, you know what Hidalgo worries me? I don't think he has the speed to be a right back just yet. But I think he has different dimension than Brody. Right, I think he's a little more calm and composed on the ball. He's obviously taller and a little more physical. But I think with Catranis, and then you rotate Hidalgo and Brody, whoever's over there on the right side, and Vera and Glad, I think that's a better team than pairing than Silva and Glad. Silva just because Silva is older, right? He's at the end of his career. But surprisingly, as we're in 3 games in, I think I'm really surprised that RSL has such depth.
Interesting
Yeah.
depth, huh? See, I like Barajas. And like looking at the bench, I don't know if we really went into the bench, but the bench was Beavers, Holt, Oviedo, Ruiz, Chang, Julio, Vera, Barajas, and Palacio.
What's up with Palacio? That's one thing that I'm a little
He's
upset
young.
about.
Remember that. He's
24,
pretty young.
25.
No,
No,
he's like
no,
19
no.
or 20.
Yeah.
Palacio is not.
Yeah.
No.
Palacio.
Look it up. We'll look it up.
Look her
What's
up.
his first name? Brian.
Nelson.
Brian. No, that's
His middle
everyone
name
else's
is Brian, and
Nelson
he was
Palacio.
born in 2000. He's 22.
One. Yes.
He's 22.
He's 22.
Okay, so
Which is
and
close to 24.
oh yeah, and that's
25.
still super young. You
But
know.
he's part of the
Nobody's-
U22 initiative, though.
Yeah, so he's older. I mean,
Yeah.
he's older than Gomez.
Yeah, but
He's. I want him. I want him to have more match time though.
yeah, but Anelli's kind of taking his spot.
Yeah, fair to him. Fair to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Nelly has got that thing locked down.
Yeah, and Palacio might get a game now that Ojeda's out, but maybe that's Ruiz.
That's probably Ruiz.
Maybe they're gonna have Ruiz and Crooks rotate out so that way they can be a center attacking mid.
But also Ruiz is kind of, he's kind of more of that attacking mid, you know. He's a little lighter. He is a much better passer when it comes to those. Because he can pass it in a lot of different ways. He can play balls over the top. He can play it into your feet. He can hold the ball for a little bit if he needs to. Ruiz is good, but it's Pablo even said that in the post game. He said, "Yeah, Ruiz is going to be playing further up the field, and he's coming back from an injury, so we're trying to take it slowly."
Well, if you're going to compare Crooks to Ruiz, I would be trading Ruiz and getting something for him because he's not.
Yeah,
gonna
but see,
play.
Ruiz can play the outside too.
Yeah, and Crooks is so.
And if Luna's off at the Olympics or whatever, we'll probably need him to play outside.
Sure,
a little
sure,
bit
but
here and
I'm
there.
thinking, you just looking at it, you want Crooks in the game as much as possible over Ruiz. If those are the two options,
I'd say right now, yeah.
if those are your only two choices there,
Yeah, that's all. What if? You know?
yeah. Well, that's the What If podcast. So I
The
think
What If podcast.
yeah, I think Arango. I do think we need to have another striker that can a quality striker.
Holt's going to be that guy. He's
He
going to
could
be
be.
our
He
third
could be.
striker. No.
Whether it's a young player, we'll see what Kai or Gozo or whoever they are, but there has to be someone, because if you're going to try and ride Chicho the whole season, that's just
Yeah.
a recipe for
Disaster.
You,
Well, the only-
gotta manage his minutes. You want to get him in as much time as possible, but not because Pablo has done this before. He will play players and play them, and then by the time we get to August, September, October, they are done.
They're burned out.
They are.
Well, and I think that went to the changes that were happening. Right around the 60th minute, we started talking about changes in the press box. Brant and I were battling it back.
Do you want to
and
get to the
forth.
second half now?
We've already talked like
We're
all of
always-
the second
we're
half,
the
so
second
we're
half.
All right, let's keep talking
jumping
about-
right in.
So
I just don't want to confuse anybody.
They're already
late.
confused.
Anyway, the only other striker we have on the team right now is Julio. I mean, there's other ones out there, but they didn't make the bench. So Julio was there, Cheng was there, Ruiz was there, Oviedo was there, Barajas was there, Palacio was there. Holt was really only there if Glad or Silva got hurt, which is fine. And Vera was there as an emergency backup, right? So,
Yeah, he wasn't getting it, and
No.
they could help it.
but they went to make the sub and brought Ruiz in the 73rd minute, and I was like, we said, who do you sub? And I said, Oviedo, he's sitting on a yellow. And,
Ojeda.
what did I say?
Because if Oviedo's sitting on a yellow,
Oviedo wasn't in.
somebody else dropped the
Yeah,
yellow.
no,
and he's sitting on
Ojeda was sitting on a yellow, so I said, sub him, yeah. And you're like, nah, sub, who'd we
I
sub?
think you were
Is
talking to
this
somebody
is this
else.
another scenario where Tyler was right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
What are the odds?
another one.
Because
Yeah.
I would have.
And then
yanked
Gomez
O'Hagan,
and Chang as well. What time did that happen?
too. Gomez and Chang, they were 73rd minute.
Okay, yeah, those two changes happened together, right? So pulled out Gomez and Crooks. They both had great games. Sit them on the bench. Let these guys come in and play some defense. Chang's a more defensive-oriented outside midder. And Ruiz is more of the control the ball, play it around, keep the ball kind of guy. Which is great. I like that idea, but Ojeda was sitting on an Amarillo card.
For people who don't know what Amarillo is, it means majestic stallion.
It means
So
a
if you're ever
little,
confused, Tyler will
a
get you.
little town in Texas.
He's got a majestic stallion. We don't know how he knows that, but he is in the press box.
And the
Maybe
thing
he's getting
about
behind
it-
closed doors.
The thing about it is you have to get there before morning.
That's true. You do have to get there before morning.
And it's up by San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Anyway, we'll try and get as many
It's
old
not
song
much further
references
north.
in as possible.
Yeah, so that happened, and I was like, but then, that happened, and then Palacio came in for Luna in the 89th, but it was in the 85th minute, right? Like, it was 84 minutes in, so he didn't put his team in too much of a lurch, but still.
Yeah, you put him in a lurch because now Ojeda can't play next week.
Right.
And we talked about this last week because they had some really late subs in St. Louis. But last year, for the most part, subs came earlier. The season
and
before,
you
we
get
really
5.
noticed.
It's a whole,
Use them.
Sub them. Yeah,
And
it's
if somebody's
73rd
on
minute.
yellow,
Get them
Yeah.
out.
The weather is there. There is 4 inches of snow, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
by the end.
Yeah.
We're
By the
sitting on
end.
4 inches of snow.
And you're up by 3, 4 inches of snow.
Some.
There's just if they get it, if they nick a goal on you, man, you could make them miserable and hold the ball and really make them work and slide around. So I think that one's on, whether it's on Pablo or the coaching staff. Ojeda should have been subbed, and that might be the only negative.
The only misstep there.
of
I
the
still
game.
would have liked to see Luna out earlier, Palacio in at 86th minute, Julio coming in at the 90th minute. Why not take Chicho out earlier?
Oh, no,
You
that
know?
was strictly just for
Time wasting.
Mhm.
I know. Why not take Chicho out earlier, right? Like 74th minute, game's won. I think you pull him out.
Yeah, in a game like
74th
this,
minute, we've come back from that.
Not
That's-
3.
in the snow, I think you could have done this Julio for Arango a little sooner.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to be pressing, and with that speed in the snow, that could be even more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So dangerous.
I concur.
So I think that's probably the only misstep, like you said. The only thing that negative you could point out, maybe do a few more
Well,
subs.
they went to sub in Barajas. He was standing up at the box when Ojeda went out on that challenge. So then they pulled him back, and I guess they were going to sub him in for Ojeda. I guess because then they didn't. Whoops. Too late.
And even in the second half, I thought LAFC, for the most part, there were players out there playing. There was a lot of kind of got chippy. I'm really excited to see how this all, because we get LAFC again, right?
Too often. Yeah. Too
So,
often we get LAFC.
The next game, there could be a really nice rivalry.
I hope so. Have a rivalry with that big of a club. I mean, that's saying something for what we've created.
Yeah.
That would be fun. So I expect
The
to
Karate
see,
Krylock is back, and he wants to. Oh, wait, you can't see him on the video. There you go. Karate Krylock. That was against LAFC.
Oh, really?
in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
It was their first playoff game ever.
Oh, yeah.
They lost.
Didn't
Guess
somebody
what?
try to do a
Karate
bicycle kick
Krylock.
or
And
something like that?
what's that?
Didn't somebody try to do a bicycle kick and missed, and then he passed it, and that was the karate kick?
That was
No.
Kansas City.
Oh, that was Kansas City.
Yeah, a couple weeks later.
Yeah, that was Kansas City where somebody did miss a bicycle. And then that was the playoffs where we knocked Kansas City out.
Yeah.
Then the only difference between that LAFC loss and this one is the tears are frozen.
Frozen tears.
Cherundelo was
Crying it up.
crying it up.
Well, when you lose a game like this, You blame the elements. You're like, oh, I was gonna do it, but then the snow, man. Right? Like, that's what you do. It's an easy out. It's an easy way to say, well, we weren't at our best because the conditions sucked.
But both teams had a play in it. You had the Colombians were tearing it up in the snow.
That was funny.
And they also got together, Pablo mentioned in the post game that they got together with the ref and before the game, and they agreed to play the game.
Yeah, Cherundelo, Pablo, and...
Cherundelo.
Cherundelo.
I'm sure that one's never been done before.
No.
Well, great game. That's great. Good, solid 3 points. We got a game coming up soon. Don't know the date of that, but when you guys do.
Colorado.
Colorado this Saturday at home, March 16th. It's at 7:30.
This Saturday. This Saturday is March 9th.
Well, it's March 9th. March 16th, there isn't a game.
Oh, there isn't?
Because why?
Isn't that an international?
International break.
Yep, so Saturday, March 9th.
At
Salt Lake, 7:30
p.m.
Colorado, the Rapids.
Better not delay it. It's probably going to be cold.
The new look, Colorado Rapids. Come into Salt Lake
I don't know.
and challenge there.
Well, there's a sliver of us, having some trouble with this team.
Yeah.
They did get a terrible handball in that last game. That was completely obvious. I don't know why it was on instant replay.
Yeah, it was interesting, huh?
Yeah, I was just like, yep, he touched the ball in the box. So, but yeah, so we wish them all the best of luck. Good luck, and Colorado, we hope you lose gracefully.
Always.
Gracefully.
Always.
Lose with grace, yes.
Nobody gets hurt.
Lose with dignity. That's why we're here. So scores across the Major League Soccer schedule over the weekend. Minnesota and Seabus. There was a great video. Minnesota had a video out of one of their Columbus players coming over in his Charlie Brown kit, whiffing on the ball and getting nutmegged.
No.
And then they had a side-by-side with Charlie Brown going, "Ah!"
That's awesome.
And then Miami just took apart Orlando, waiting to not show
Maybe
up.
Miami's better than we think. Maybe we played them pretty well.
Yeah,
I think we lock them down pretty well.
They also had some players that weren't there that are coming in. They did just send off Yedlin.
5. Yikes. 5? 5-0.
Yeah, DeAndre
it's gonna be
Ledlin
6.
just got sent off to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Vancouver and Charlotte 1-1. Didn't watch the highlights of that, but from somebody that I do know mentioned that Krylak was in for 65 minutes and hardly saw the ball. Chicago.
Was he directing? Right. Was he directing traffic?
Was he? We got to go watch that game now.
I know, we're going to have to go watch that.
Oh, right. I don't know. We got to be nice.
We do got to be nice.
Because
we still love him, but,
with,
the traffic director is in.
His flag is just a different color. Chicago and Cincinnati. Chicago lost to Cincinnati 2-1. FC Dallas lost to Montreal 2-1. I think Montreal's going to be better.
No.
Houston lost 2-1 to Red Bull.
Oh, wow.
Didn't really see that coming.
No, in Kansas City and Philly, there was
little controversy.
Little Scabby the Ref controversy in there. 1-1. They got a late goal.
No, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. No.
According to Major League Soccer, it doesn't. They sent out a memo. Don't talk about the refs. They're just fine.
No, they're not. They suck. They're JV refs. I said it. Come after me.
Yeah, I think...
At Tyler Trainer on Twitter. Take me on.
They have dodged a bullet so far,
Prove me wrong.
If this keeps up, I think the games are just going to get worse and worse.
Yeah.
Colorado and Nashville, I think Colorado got a late goal, right? 1-1. I think Nashville
got the late goal.
Yeah, because Nashville had the horrible own goal. It's like he headed the ball down and over his keeper.
Ooh, that's the worst.
Portland 2-2. DC United. San Jose in the Cali Classico lost 3-1 to the Galaxy, who seemed to be a little revived. That Paintsil, the guy they signed, Paintsil, looks like
it looks like he's running fast.
And I'm a huge Ricky Puig fan. I like him. But I'll take Matt Cruz because he's so much taller. And then the Seattle and Austin. Seattle is struggling. Austin is going to suck the whole year. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. 0-0. And then New England and Toronto played. I watched the second half of that game.
Yeah, Toronto scored and New England didn't. Well, they did, but then they called it back. So
but,
it ended 1-0.
So, any other thoughts on the other games? Did you watch any of the other games? Catch any of the other games?
Yeah, it's crazy week. And it's interesting who we've played so far, right? We've played Miami, who took apart Orlando, and then we played
LAFC.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, and St. Louis won as well, right?
Yeah, they beat
over the
NYCFC.
Over all the letters.
And a lot of the people were saying that NYCFC was going to be a new team this year. That they had some firepower like they didn't last year. But I don't see it.
Yeah, well, St. Louis plays a different kind of game. They play that on top of you, push you around, try to frustrate you. And
Take your lunch money.
Yeah. And so
Is
that's
that
a
how
hard.
they draw it up?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Have you not been?
No,
in their locker room?
I've never seen them say nick a goal or park in the bus or so many dumb things that people say.
You go into their locker room and they've got all these metal lunch boxes that they've stolen from the kids after every game.
No,
that would be funny. Oh, you win the lunchbox. You stole his lunch money. You get the lunchbox.
You get the charge.
The lunchbox of the week.
You know how they on the sidelines, like the NFL, some of the defenses, they'll have the big chain if you make a nice defensive play.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have like a little metal
Miami started
lunchbox.
that, yeah.
lunchbox. So yeah, we've had a tough schedule, and I am totally surprised that we have 4 points after 3 games. I would not have predicted that.
That is very good. Very good. Yeah, I'll take it for sure.
We'll take it.
So.
Cross the pond, sir.
Yes. Come on, Crawley update.
And we're still saying, come on.
Come on, Wrexham.
Come on,
Crawley.
Oh, by the way, before we do that, Brant put a really cool post out on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, go share your Snowmagedon pictures with us on Twitter. Everybody's doing it, and it's really kind of cool to see everybody that stayed late at the game and got snow all over them. It's fun.
And no shame if you had to go. If you have kids, I wouldn't have kept kids. If I had like a 4-year-old or if I had a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old, we probably wouldn't have made it. Unless we had, prepared for this.
But you had me, and I kept asking you for food, and that didn't work.
Yeah, I told you, Tyler, we can't go home yet. Go sit down.
But okay, so now we can go across the pond. But yeah,
Yes.
go share your pics with us on Twitter. That's fun.
So, nothing to report. We fell to 11th place because we didn't play.
But you know what? They're
The
still
ref-
right there.
the
Still
ref-
right there.
We're still there.
The ref showed up on Friday. They did a pitch inspection, and it was too waterlogged. So
It was too soggy.
too soggy,
Soggy cereal.
Soggy.
and they just didn't want to play. So we're still in 11th. We're only like 5 points off the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But we have 2 games in hand because we've had to postpone a couple of games.
Yeah.
And there's a game tomorrow, March 3rd, Tuesday. We go to play the Shrimps at Morecambe.
The what?
Morecambe.
What can you watch that on?
The what?
You can watch that on iFollow. If you go to iFollow Crawley.
That sounds not like a good site.
Oh, it is really good.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. If you go to iFollow Crawley, we should do this before the season is over. It's like, go to iFollow Crawley, we'll pick a game, say, watch this game, go to iFollow Crawley, and it's only like $10.
Really?
And you can watch the Crawley, whatever game you pick, and then we should have people tweet at Gary.
Yeah, let's do
during
that.
the game. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's another friend we have, huh?
You can go to EFL.com.
I'll make a note.
And get on that one.
Give Gary the love.
Give.
Probably.
Whoa!
Send the little
Pause.
stream.
Pause.
Give.
Give
Give.
Gary the love.
Give.
No.
Give.
Oh, boy.
Give said
That would be hilarious if we could get everybody.
Gary the stream
So.
as he hurried down the hill. Or is that the whole Crawley update? Since they didn't.
Well, yeah, they didn't play, but they do have a
was
game
there a
tomorrow.
Wrexham update with that?
No,
No.
we're still way above 11th.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
Second
we are a lot higher
Third?
than that.
I didn't check on Wrexham.
points.
They had fallen out of.
Oh, falling out of what?
They're third.
Oh, they're back in. They had fallen out of the
Yeah,
top
they're
3 with the
tied for
automatic
second.
promotions.
What are you talking about?
Automatic
They're tied for
promotion
second.
time.
Let's see, Crawley's down 11th, 49th. 7th place
Yeah,
is 54. They're 5 points out.
Crawley just needs to have somebody come start doing a documentary.
You know what? I think Crawley
Things will
needs
change.
our boy Mullen. I think if they
Paul
were able to
Mullen.
get Paul Mullen, I think
Oh,
Crawley
he's-
stand a chance.
He's gone to the bench. He hasn't been playing.
Really? That's how
Really?
much I've been actually paying attention to Wrexham.
Yeah, I just listened. I might listen to a podcast about League Two.
Oh
But
boy.
yeah, so Crawley, they've got 2 games in hand. They've got on the people in front of them, so they can pick up those points. But it's been a great season.
And Crawley's ahead of Notts County.
That's
So,
a first.
You know, that's good.
Notts County has been tumbling down the table. They had the record-breaking season last year
That almost beat Wrexham in the league last year.
Yeah, they both beat the previous record of points in the National League that once held by Crawley.
Mm.
So they are tumbling down. And let's see, down at the bottom, poor Forest Green and Sutton. Although it's getting tight, they're trying to yank Colchester and Grimsby Town into the fight for relegation.
Sorry.
Trying
It
to
just sounded so funny the way you said that.
yank them off. Yank 'em down.
Wow. So how did Man United do? They started off good and scored a goal against Man City.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford actually shot the ball, and it was within the goalposts, and he scored. And
Oh, he nailed that thing.
there
That
was
awesome.
there was quite a bit of elation, and then
Then he
then
decided
they realized.
not to play defense anymore.
Well, no, they realized who they were and who they have been for multiple years, and they were like, whoa, the other team hasn't scored yet.
We can't have success.
No.
No, Phil Foden
I-
came alive, dude. Did you see those goals?
No.
Like,
And that's so
and I
funny
say this. Sometimes England players get more credit than they deserve
No.
because they're
English. Yeah.
They're English, but I think Phil Foden's a player. And
it's
if
funny
you
'cause,
disagree, go watch those highlights and then we'll talk.
Well, throughout the year, Pep's sat him down
Yeah.
so many times, and I'm
I
like,
know.
wow, that like
Stop it.
Phil got behind everybody.
Yeah.
That guy,
He did,
and he's got
really
a
well.
foot. Holy cow!
Yeah, two
Yeah,
crackers.
I can't wait until they get relegated.
It's a
I
cracker.
can't wait. It's
I
gonna be
think
so nice.
after this season, that would be hilarious if they dropped like 40 points or something.
I want them.
And then Burnley stays up.
oh my gosh,
Or Sheffield, right?
I will do anything.
That would
to
be
make that
so
happen.
funny. Oh my gosh. Because
think
of financial fair play. So if you guys haven't listened to the podcast here, we love to tease teams that suck at keeping the rules. So, for example, we like to
cheat.
poke fun at Manchester City since they don't really, they kind of turn their nose up at the fair play rules.
Like how do you
Everton
amass
did
such
it
quality
too.
players in such a short time?
Yeah, Everton did it, and they got dropped 10 points. That's why they're sitting around the drop zone right now. But they knew it, and they're done, and Man City's not.
And I think some of the
It's
teams,
still out there.
the teams that didn't get relegated, or did get relegated, and Everton did not,
Yeah,
might be suing Everton
that would be awesome.
because they were relegated and they should have been,
They should have been.
because they weren't playing fair.
Leicester,
Leicester, Leeds, and who else went down?
I don't know, somebody else.
Wolves went down.
Somebody else that sucked.
No,
Well, that was
last
a while
season.
ago. That was-
Yeah, anyway.
What about your team?
My team played the soon-to-be relegated Sheffield Uniteds, where former Colorado Rapids star Austin Trusty plays. And they got absolutely smoked by the Arsenal. They scored in the 5th minute, the 13th minute, the 15th minute, the 25th minute, the 39th minute, and the 58th
What?
minute. 6-0. And this is a Premier League game. Usually you don't get Premier League games like that, but Sheffield's that bad.
Yeah, there are two really.
They're sitting on 13 points, and Arsenal went to 68 and a 45 goal differential. Whoa.
I think they might be past the Derby line, because Derby only had like 50. Maybe they aren't. Derby has the
Like
worst
the worst
record
ever
in the Premier League, and
Yeah.
it's like around 13 points. And Burnley and Sheffield are just stinking the joint up. Luton Town, they were on a little roll and then decided not to be, and they've lost 4 in a row. And Nottingham Forest
just staying up, just barely.
got 4 points ahead of them.
And Everton's right there. There you go. You get a 10-point, deduction in points.
And
And I think it would be hilarious if Manchester City were to join him on a 60-point drop or something.
See ya.
Ridiculous. That'd
And
be awesome.
Brentford's getting sucked into the relegation zone. And that's the reason we worry about that is because That's Gary.
Gary's team. And Ivan Toney is probably leaving. They're not scoring as many goals as they were.
Would you bet on that?
They took.
Would you bet on that? That Ivan Toney is leaving?
I think they took 11th place last year, and that's like the worst spot to pick.
It was like 9th last year.
Yeah, or something. Whatever spot they took last year is like the death curse.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if you take 9th, you get relegated the next year.
Somebody
Something
said
like
that.
that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
somebody did the data on that, and if you take 9th, you get relegated. Because you think, nah, dude, we're good enough. Anyway, there you go.